1 billion people in the world suffer from hunger. Nearly 2/3 are farmers. A pioneer in free trade and international trade specialist, Tristan Lecomte travels the world to show us the daily life of those men and women we simply call small producers. Through their eyewitness accounts, they reveal the huge impact that our patterns of consumption have on their lives and those of their families. Implications that can have dramatic consequences or that can significantly improve their standards of living. That's what Tristan Lecomte invites us to discover in his search that will lead us into other worlds. Rooibos, or the red tea of Africa, is a plant found only in South Africa. All efforts to delocalize this culture to other countries, even those with similar climates, have failed. Taken in the form of an infusion, Africa's red tea has been astonishingly successful across the world since the end of the apartheid in 1991. Production has soared by about 2,800% in 20 years, over half of which is exported abroad. Rooibos is one of South Africa's favorite drinks. Beloved by all, it has become the symbol on which South Africa is seeking to build its identity. Its production combines the know-how of the colored populations with the technology of the whites. This is the way rooibos is presented in the tourist guides, but in fact, it's a whole different story. Only 1% of the exports come from farms managed by colored people. This figure can be explained by the political and economic influence of the powerful white landowners. In the days following apartheid, they were able to impose a law to ring-fence private property. Even the state cannot make them cede or sell land, other than at the exorbitant prices they want to impose. Result? In the arid region of Cedarburg, where the red tea grows, the price of land is prohibitive. A financial barrier which makes access to property almost impossible to most of the population. Deprived of farmland, how can the small black or biracial producers even hope to exist on the red tea market? That's what Tristan Lecomte has set out to do in investigating the rooibos industry in the heart of the African summer. The investigation starts at Cape Town, just a few months after the death of Nelson Mandela. Pictures of the former prisoner of Robben Island are posted on government buildings and in public places everywhere. Symbol of the end of apartheid, Mandela incarnated the image that the country wanted to project to the world. In the large cities, people mingle on cafe terraces, and the time when the blacks had to stay away from the whites seems to be past.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Is that your favorite?
Huh?
Is that your favorite?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Do
man.
you serve a lot of rooibos here?
Absolutely, man.
It's popular in Cape Town?
Yeah, most in Cape Town, like everywhere, man. Like, just to drink it as it is, like black, with no milk.
And where is it coming from?
Well, this is actually made in South Africa.
Where?
It's right in Cape Town, but it's not import.
Is it more popular than coffee or?
They like coffee and they go for tea. But if it's tea, then I'll be the
You
rooibos.
go for rooibos.
Yes.
Rooibos, in the Afrikaner language, means red shrub. When it dries, the action of the enzymes causes the leaves to oxidize, turning them red. The harvesting period stretches from January to March, the height of summer in the southern hemisphere. It is reaped with a sickle. To reach the Northern Cape region, the cradle of red tea, Tristan takes the wine route which goes directly to Namibia. Huge wine-growing estates sprawl along both sides of the road. The landscape reflects the reality of South African agriculture. When apartheid was abolished, 25 million hectares were supposed to be redistributed among the colored population. But 20 years later, and despite numerous land reforms, only 2 million hectares were in fact transferred to over 1 million small producers. 60,000 whites, who represent only 8% of the population, still own 80% of the cultivable land. South Africa is a very young democracy, and proclaims the equality of all of its citizens. When a very small minority monopolizes all the wealth, which seems to be the case in the rural areas of the country, can you really talk about equality? To find out, let's head for Clanwilliam, the regional capital. Founded in 1806, Clanwilliam is one of the oldest towns in South Africa. The economy of this agricultural city is based on the rooibos industry. A large part of the success of red tea comes from its medicinal virtues, properties that have never been proved, but that have never been disclaimed by scientific studies. To find out more, Tristan meets up with Colette Cronje. A scientist, Colette is head of quality control at Rooibos Limited, the global leader in red tea production. In her laboratory, she analyzes hundreds of thousands of rooibos samples. For her, the strong point of rooibos is in its antioxidants.
It's what keeps you young, or at least what helps you to fight, for example, cancer, right?
Yes. Antioxidants binds to free radicals. Free radicals are the stuff that can make us ill, that can cause cancer, or can cause aging, or can cause oxidative stress. So the antioxidants in rooibos and in any other product will actually bind to the free radicals and inactivate them.
And rooibos, is it a product only for white people, or it's for colored black people? Like in South Africa, who drinks rooibos?
Everyone drinks rooibos. Rooibos is one of those products, and I think that's also why the rooibos industry is such a huge success, that the taste of rooibos, everyone finds it nice. Rooibos is really not a specific, not connected to a specific race.
Although it's true that the drinking of rooibos brings all South Africans together, regardless of their origins, the same does not apply when it comes to producing it. Around Clanwilliam, at the height of the harvesting season, there are thousands of people out there cutting rooibos branches, bent double in the blazing sun. There is no denying the facts. The cutters are exclusively black or of mixed race. Each worker has a microchip. The amount that he gathers each day is weighed with precision. He'll be paid accordingly. A man in the prime of life can cut up to 800 kilograms a day. He'll be paid the equivalent of $15 US. But the heat is such that most of the workers, in particular the women, will never manage to earn this amount.
Like in a day, how many kilo can you harvest, more or less?
Yeah, I can't reach 400. I'm doing between 3 and 3 something. I can't reach 400.
400, it's
Kilos.
to get the minimum salary?
They said 400 is almost 100 rand.
Yeah, so you get how much per day?
Yeah, maybe I get 70 something. I don't know, because last week I got paid for 3 days.
And they paid you how much, for example?
I had 232.
For 3 days?
Yeah, because I
So-
wasn't working. Sometimes I sit down because I feel like falling.
Yeah.
But this week I'm better.
This field belongs to Martin Berg. He's the largest producer of rooibos, as well as the managing director of Rooibos Limited. It's at the company headquarters, in the very center of Clanwilliam, that our investigator will meet up with the boss. When he arrives in front of the factory, Tristan quickly realizes that he will be a little late for his rendezvous. The workers are demanding a 10% increase in salary. The management is proposing 7.5%. The strikers are taking advantage of a right that had been refused to them until 1991.
How was it during apartheid? Could you still demonstrate like that or not?
In the old days, we used to get permission, and if they refused permission, we would still demonstrate. It has become slightly easier. There were strikes.
Ah, yeah?
The 1973 Durban strikes. Plenty of strikes, bloody strikes. People lost their lives, but there were strikes. But then different laws applied at the time. Today, the Constitution says we have the right to protest. What we're engaging on is a right. Okay? So if we work within the ambit of the law, there should be no problem.
And how is discussion normally with the management of this factory?
Well, like I said, there's challenges in the factory, okay? Workers will say management don't listen. Managers will say, workers will don't listen. So it's difficult to say that we ask, you don't give. There's a lot of goodwill on both sides to resolve any issues.
Have a good day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys, and hope you get...
The strike will last 5 weeks, and the workers will end up by giving in. The management remains adamant the increase will be 7.5%. Rooibos Limited is the largest employer in the region, and as far as salaries go, the company already offers the equivalent of 3 times the minimum legal wage. That perhaps explains why Martin Berg, the company's managing director, is so unruffled. He takes Tristan to his farm, far from the turbulence surrounding the factory. His home is in the heart of the rooibos fields, about 15 kilometers from the town.
Big party.
Martin Berg is the major provider of tea for Rooibos Limited. Although he is the managing director, the company belongs to its shareholders. During apartheid, Rooibos Limited was organized as a cooperative. It comprised the principal white producers of the region. At the time, colored people were not allowed to be a part of it. Today, the company alone represents 66% of the worldwide production of rooibos.
How do you explain this success, like to have 66% market share? Everybody would dream of that. What's your strategy to reach that?
Well, we did have an advantage in that the old tea marketing board, when it was privatized, everybody could do what they wanted to. The market split up. But the majority of farmers decided to pool together to form Rooibos Limited, which gave us the start.
And the other, like 300 farmers who own Rooibos Limited, what is the size of their farm in average?
The farms vary tremendously. We sell about 10,000 tons of tea, so we buy about 10,000 tons of tea from 200 plus farmers. So on average, a farmer is producing 50 tons of tea per farm for us. But that varies tremendously, from subsistence farmers who are producing 2 or 3 tons of tea to big farmers who are producing 400 or 500 tons of tea.
Among your 300 shareholders, how many are black or colored?
I can't give you that number. What I can tell you is that there are no blacks. In this area, black people only came to Clan William in the late 1980s. There were no black people here. They came here as migrant laborers, like mostly happens, but before that, the Clan William area was white and colored. So we've got quite a number of colored shareholders, but mostly they are small farmers, subsistence farmers, so they hold few shares. The percentage of shares they hold is very small. The vast majority of our shares are held by white people.
Martin Berg's family, who arrived in the region in the 17th century, has been cultivating rooibos since the 1930s.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and the story of rooibos here in South Africa?
The story of rooibos is quite a bit older than my story, so we'll link them in together. Nobody really knows who discovered rooibos. The first thing we know about rooibos is when Swedish botanists recorded rooibos and said the local people consume it as a beverage, and that was the late 1700s. From then, it was just folklore. Rooibos was used. It wasn't traded. It was just part of the subsistence life of the people around here. And that all changed in the very early 1900s, 1902, when the Ginsberg family came to this part of the world. They came from Russia, and they were tea purveyors in Russia. And they came here and they discovered that in this area there was this, they didn't know that, there was this plant and the people drank it as a tea. So the Ginsbergs started actively buying tea from farmers. And in the 1920s, they made the first rooibos brand, which is 11 o'clock, which is still the 3rd biggest brand in South Africa now.
makes the large producers in the region that develop the tools to process the tea. They modified the agricultural equipment used for other crops, adapting it to the special needs of the rooibos transformation process. The rooibos comes by truck to the tea court, the name of the place where the freshly harvested branches of the shrubs will be processed. The red tea seems more green than red for the moment. The branches will be chopped into little pieces. A tractor will then form a mound about 20 centimeters high. The rows will be watered to accelerate fermentation. After a couple of hours, the color starts to change. It's all a question of timing. A machine comes to gather the rooibos to stop fermentation and spreads it evenly around the tea court. Only when it's dry will the tea be sent to the Rooibos Limited plant, where it will be pasteurized at a high temperature. This is an obligatory step to ensure compliance with international food standards. During the off-season, the rooibos undergoes chemical treatments to protect it from pests.
And you have only pesticide to control this pest, yeah?
That's all.
Yeah.
As I say, because it's so dry, it's not a great area for pests either. So
it's not so often.
As I say, some seasons nothing, some season up to twice, but no more than that.
Each batch is controlled in the factory's laboratories. Tests will show if the chemical residue levels are acceptable. If not, the tea is sent back to its owner. Rooibos Limited also markets an organic rooibos with no chemical treatment, but it represents only 10% of the total production. It is not really profitable for the company, but a global market leader cannot afford to neglect this sector. The company also sells fair trade certified rooibos. It's quite surprising for a company of this size, but Martin Berg is very proud of having set up a cooperative.
You, Rooibos Limited, you started a fair trade project, right? Can you tell us about it?
We support a fair trade community. We support any community which is certified fair trade, but we specifically support one fair trade community where a collection of small farmers got together, put themselves together in a co-op and are organized so we deal well with them. We help them in cultivation practices, we help them in commercial practices, and we help them with marketing. The biggest problem with most of these fair trade projects where you have small farmers is they don't have the skill set to link themselves to international marketeers and branders. So we provide that link for them.
You do the marketing for them.
We basically only link the client. We have very little we don't make profit in the chain. We link them to the client, and we also provide them and the client with the service of blending, pasteurizing, and making sure that the product that they get, that the client gets, is the right product.
And these people in your project, they are gathered as a cooperative, or how are they organized?
They are gathered as a cooperative, yes.
And so, do they work every day, like they have their own land, or how does it work?
Mostly they do have their own land, which they either own or rent, but most of them actually have primary jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So they are working on tea farms. Some of them work elsewhere, and they take time off or weekends or hobby farm their rooibos. Rooibos is a very extensive farming. It doesn't need irrigation. It doesn't need spraying. So your labor-intensive time is at planting and at harvesting. So they don't need to be there all the time, which gives them the opportunity of earning a salary as well. Yeah.
A cooperative that works only on weekends. That's unusual in itself. Tristan hasn't finished being surprised. Another surprise awaits him when he visits the Dryfontein Community Center, the name of this famous cooperative. It all looks so new, and above all, out of proportion. the cooperative counts only 36 families.
The atmosphere here is amazing.
When the small producers sell their product under a fair trade label, they receive a premium paid for by the buyers. This explains in part why fair trade products are sometimes more expensive than standard products. The premium has to be spent on community projects to improve the producers' standards of living. And it's this money that should have financed the construction of the center. But Tristan now finds out that it was Martin Berg who provided the funds. This is confirmed by Don Wil Pienaar, the Secretary General of the Dryfontein Cooperative. But since it's midweek, he serves as Martin Berg's official foreman. It's a good job. With his wife and son, he has free accommodations on his boss's land and can go home every night. On the other hand, Don Wil tells Tristan that the cooperative's land is over 100 kilometers from his house. Once again, it was Martin Berg who took care of everything, and apparently he didn't find anything closer.
Yeah, we haven't actually talked to Martin like we want to buy ground here close to us. But I think maybe if we would go with a suggestion to him, maybe he would.
Yeah?
Maybe he would.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because you didn't ask yet? Like,
Yeah, we did not ask yet, yeah. But I think maybe if we would ask,
maybe he would say, yeah. Yeah, he's a good man, yeah. And, but regarding even your community center, you cannot own the land.
Yeah.
The community center.
The community center, the land where the center is on. Yeah, I think maybe if we could talk to him, ask him, why not? If we couldn't give the ground, maybe he would. We must just go and talk to him. I think he's a good man, and maybe he would.
There is no doubt about it. Martin Berg is a good guy, a good boss. But normally it should not be up to him to make decisions on behalf of the cooperative. Mandy Mansouri works for EMG, the Environmental Monitoring Group, a non-governmental organization. She helps small producers who want to apply for free trade certification. And that's exactly what Tristan needs to know. Can you really talk about free trade when you talk about Dryfontein?
So for me, I'm sure there are good intentions behind it, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And if you have to work Monday to Friday on a farm as a domestic worker or a plantation worker, and then on Saturdays and Sundays you have to go and do more work, that's problematic for me, because to me development is about improving people's lives. You know, whether your co-op makes money at the end of the day or not, who's spending time with your children over the weekend? Is money.
And it's against ILO standards not to have one day off out of 7, right? But it doesn't go to the end of the logic to help the people to be fully empowered, right? It's a halfway project.
It's a halfway project that really is undermining those people's integrity and their freedoms. So often when the big plantation owners get involved and they try to help people, it's often patronizing as opposed to empowering. And so from our perspective, it's very important for workers and small-scale farmers to be empowered in a way that they direct the change that happens to them.
So, there is a strange form of free trade in South Africa, which you find only in the large plantations, and which strays from the goals usually associated with the sector. The small rooibos producers seem to be confronted with an impossible situation. They need land, but they don't have the means to get it. When they are promised land, it's so that they can be made to submit more easily. And anyway, what chance would they have when faced with competitors like Rooibos Limited? There is indeed a fair trade cooperative, really fair, that has been successful in meeting this challenge. To discover it, you have to go to Nieuwoutville, a 2-hour drive from Clan William. This little town of 2,000 inhabitants is the entry point of the Buckeveld Plateau. It's at a high altitude, and the harsh climate limits agricultural production to cattle farming and the cultivation of rooibos. It no longer comes as a surprise. The largest farms belong to white farmers. A handful of biracial farmers were nonetheless able to buy a few hectares of land when apartheid ended. They bought the land at full price with the help of state aid, but if they were able to do so, it was mainly because no one else was interested in it. The land is difficult to access and in rocky areas. However, they managed to farm it to produce rooibos. These are the same small producers that founded Heiveld in the early 2000s. This fair trade cooperative grows only red tea, produced according to organic farming techniques. The 64 members cultivate, in all, 400 hectares of rooibos. For the sake of comparison, Martin Berg personally owns over 10,000 hectares. To launch its activity, the Nieuwoutville producers community turned to 2 NGOs. The two, Indigo and EMG, share office space in the center of town. For the last 15 years, they have been working together to provide technical and logistical support to the cooperative, and their strategy has always been to empower the producers.
When we first started, we had a very important workshop where we asked the people in the State Buckeveld, would you like to work with us? Do you choose to work with us? And what is it you would like to be working on? And I think it was really important who sets the agenda. So the people were saying, we decided to work with Indigo and EMG, and we want to do this, and we are clear about how we want to engage. In the beginning, when the Heiveld was founded, Indigo's and EMG's role was quite strong. People had very little experience in how to conduct a formal meeting, how to set up a constitution, how to export, how to do financial administration and cash flow predictions and so on. But I think what was quite important is that we had a big engagement first, and our engagement was diminishing slowly as we felt it was possible, while the Heiveld farmers had a smaller engagement first, and their engagement was increasing over time.
Although the involvement of NGOs was essential in helping the cooperative to get up and going, this is due in part to the fact that attitudes here have not changed much. Creating a rooibos cooperative that is economically viable and forced to compete with the industrial sector is a huge gamble in itself. If, on top of that, the cooperative is made up exclusively of biracial members, the challenge takes on a whole new dimension. Noel Ottel, the head of EMG, explains why.
Rooibos, because it's been 20 years now that the apartheid regime is gone. In the last 20 years, is there many land that were sold from whites to blacks or colored people here in the region for doing rooibos?
No, very little. Very little indeed. And that's partly to do with the willing seller thing, because some sellers have been unwilling to sell to colored aspirant farmers or farmers because they don't want to have neighbors who are not of the same cultural group as they are. So that's a well-known phenomenon.
So there is still a lot of kind of racism, or at least some separation between the two communities here.
There's a great deal of separation, and if you go to the local school, you will see that all the children in the local school are colored children.
Even though the law no longer imposes separate spaces for colored and white people, old habits persist. At Nieuwoutville, for example, there are 2 churches, one for each community. They pray to the same God, but on their own. It's on the way to school that Tristan meets up with Lesti. She's the general manager of Heiveld, the fair trade cooperative. Like every morning, she takes her children to school before heading for the rooibos fields. There are no white children around as they study at the other end of town, in a private school where, according to Lesti, there are no colored children.
Government school, so it's subsidized by the government. They also have a food scheme where the kids get food.
Ah, yeah?
So they have a kitchen, they prepare food for the kids and so forth.
And do you have to pay for the school here or it's free?
No, you don't have to pay any school fee.
So, a form of racial segregation still exists in the daily life of South Africans, in particular in the rural areas. Apartheid has left deep wounds and even jeopardized the plans for the cooperative.
It was a hard way to get here. It was not easy. And the people joined, as the members joined the co-op. It was, at every meeting, a lot of people were just drunk. And you couldn't have a meeting with drunk people. So it was to educate the people, to say, guys, this is our business, our pride, our thing. You can't come drunk here. You have to go. You have to leave. But what the whites did was, they pay the workers with wine. You see, so if they have wine, they can say they say. You say they're outspoken. So for them it was, if I'm sober, I can't have a proper conversation because I'm too stupid. So I have to drink some wine, then I have more self-confidence and so forth.
So this dates back, this is apartheid heritage, right?
Yeah, it's apartheid heritage from the past. So a lot of people said it will never work. The co-op will never work, it will be just a thing and then it will be gone. But today, 12 years later, 13 years later, I think we're just going stronger.
The psychological damage caused by centuries of oppression is very hard to erase. That's why, every week, the members of Heiveld get together to attend some rather unusual workshops. Through role-playing games and simple exercises, Bettina encourages the producers to develop trust in one another, but also to be wary when it comes to sharing information. Scenarios which help them become aware of the importance of doing so.
Then I heard we were going to start at 10 a.m., but in fact, the first guy said 2 p.m. It's a good idea to pass on messages, but you've got to be sure it's the right one.
Regarding what you just said, I think it's better to communicate more directly. You should call the tea court straight off if you want to know. The message shouldn't be passed around from one person to another.
Okay, good. Has everyone spoken? Well, now we can congratulate each other.
The producers launched a video project with the help of Shannon, the daughter of one of the members of the cooperative. She films them or gives them the camera so that they can express their doubts, their hopes, in their own words. It's Shannon who does the editing, under the supervision of the group.
I think one of the nicest things for me is that it's not someone who's completely unfamiliar to them that goes there. You get a lot of stories from them, and a lot of the issues are put on the table without them feeling uncomfortable about talking about it. Yeah.
The people themselves who do the movie.
Exactly, yeah.
To solve the problem by themselves.
By themselves. And it's not us going there telling them, can you not talk about this or can you not talk about that? It's completely their process. Yes, and we're just there to facilitate.
The producers are making a film about the cooperative. It will be posted on the internet. It's a chance to show their pride, and it's justifiable.
And so today, where do you export your product? Who are your clients?
We export.
Which country?
We export to Switzerland, Germany, UK, USA, New Zealand, Italy, and
France.
France. Yeah, into France. Yes.
Okay, so it's an amazing success story, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's, yeah, and I think it grows, it still grows.
Heiveld does not receive any subsidies. The enterprise depends 100% on its foreign customers, and it cannot afford to disappoint them. It's by offering a top-quality organic tea that the cooperative has made a name for itself on the rooibos market. To do so, they had to invest in efficient means of production and training programs, and it's thanks to the fair trade premiums that they were able to accomplish this. On the other hand, there's no real sign of a community center.
The fair trade farms I know, you will always see a creche, you will always see a community center. My question is, what for? They don't need that. They don't need creches, they don't need community center. Creche, I can say, okay, it can go, really, but a community center.
They all do that, community center,
They
all the
all-
plantation.
Yes. If you hear, they have a community center, they have a hall for something, and they keep, the church is now there, and they have this. So for me, it's to uplift the price of the farmers, the white farmers' farm. Because the more buildings, the value. Yeah, it values the farm.
The members of the cooperative each own a few hectares of rooibos, bits of land spread across the vast plateau. To optimize the gathering process, teams of cutters harvest the fields of each member, one after the other. A car brings back the harvested tea to the team in charge of transforming it. It's Martins Conste, one of the founders of the cooperative, who plays the part of the driver. At age 59, he can continue working without bending down for too long cutting the rooibos in the fields. The tea is weighed, and the owner of the field is paid directly according to the weight harvested. By sharing the tasks and means of production, the cooperative is doing pretty well. Although the volumes of tea produced are not colossal, its quality lives up to customer expectations. Like coffee or cocoa beans, it's the care taken in preparing the tea that determines the value of the finished product. A know-how that's hard to emulate. Let's take a short break to learn how to cut rooibos the right way.
My first rooibos tea.
So the plant must be cut because if you don't cut it, they get a lot of flowers and they lose all their leaves. If they cut it too deep, it will die.
Like here, if I cut it like here,
yes, it will die.
It will die.
While Tristan practices, his teacher has found a rooibos seed.
Wow. Very, very small.
At the end of the harvest, members will go to the fields to look for the thousands of seeds that were not cut. The seeds will be put to germinate in nurseries until the shoots are ready to be replanted in open ground. Despite the stifling heat, people are chatting, laughing. Scenes that you don't often see in the Clan William fields. Five years ago, the cooperative decided to develop a tourism activity. Part of the fair trade premium went into the construction of an eco-lodge, a group of little houses where travelers can feel that they have really ventured into another world. For the members of Heiveld, the activity brings in a considerable amount of additional revenue. The huts are built in the same way as the traditional Bushman dwellings. Accommodations are very basic, but adequate. The biodiversity of the region is exceptional. The reason why, since 2004, the Bokkeveld Plateau is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. On the one hand, it attracts more and more people to the region, But on the other, it also obliges the authorities to protect the fragile ecosystem. During the summer, the slightest spark can trigger a fire. That's what happened just before Tristan arrived. Canadair had come in from Cape Town to prevent the area from being completely destroyed. If the site had not been listed, the chances are high that the planes wouldn't have taken off. The lands of the cooperative would have gone up in smoke. After a night in the bush, it's time to return to Nieuwoutville. Tristan is going to have to check out a story that the producers told him. Just outside of town, the state invested millions of euros in an ultra-modern factory to process and pasteurize rooibos. Since 2008, it is supposed to allow small farmers to use the installations for almost nothing. The project is part of the government's policy of providing support to small producers. The state has agreed to purchase the rooibos at full price from those who are interested and to market it under its own brand. But, according to the members of Heiveld, the plant manager Gert Steenkamp has strayed far from his mission. He apparently buys rooibos only from the major white landowners. And when he accepts tea from those of biracial origin, it's on the condition that is neither organic nor free trade. Tristan decides to question Gert Steenkamp. He tells Steenkamp that he has come especially from France to praise the quality of his rooibos. The man, flattered, agrees to a meeting. Filming is forbidden inside the buildings. Top secret.
Organic is a kind of marketing thing.
It's a marketing thing. For me, it's a marketing thing. There is certain people that they want organic fruit, organic this, organic this. So.
And regarding fair trade, it's the same. It's a kind of marketing, you think?
Now, the people in Europe is busy to help the emerging farmers. Else on fair trade, and then also the fair trade is organic.
Oh yeah, fair trade is organic?
Is organic, yes.
Why?
I think that is that kind of people that will pay extra to help the people.
If Steenkamp discourages farmers from producing organic rooibos, it's because he has to clean all his installations before he processes or pasteurizes a tea certified as organic. A waste of time and money. After about an hour, Tristan's patience pays off. The man confides in him and tells him his secret. Apparently, when it comes to selling organic and fair trade rooibos, Steenkamp sees only the downsides.
You made your own logo, like fair trade logo.
Yeah, we make
it's a bit like fair trade.
So, community
like
thing, so.
Yeah, community thing. Community initiative project. Yeah. And who controls it? It's your own?
Yeah.
Because like for organic or fair trade, there is someone else who controls them, but you prefer to do it on your own.
Yeah, on our own. So that is our community. So
it looks good, huh?
Yeah. So you must only look at it. Huh?
And then the consumer will think, oh, it's a nice project.
Yeah. That is one of the things that we begin.
Oh, it's clever.
That is business.
And you don't have to pay for this one.
No, I already pay for that. You can market it like this. Otherwise, you say to me, no, you want to make other thing, but we want to use that. And then I will know, no problem.
And I don't have to pay a minimum price, a premium?
Because I know that I can sell tea to you.
So we can make more money?
Can make more money and work together.
That's how you can be very successful.
Yeah. I always say, me and you must work together to do business. So.
And we keep this small secret between each other.
That small secret things is between us. But the big things not, but the small things is between us.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah. Because it's a taste and the density and everything. So there is certain things. It's between me and you. Not all the things.
But then the others, that's why the ones who do fair trade, they may not like you because they pay more price.
No, fair trade is only tea. They give the emerging people a cent extra. So it's not yeah, so that is not the thing.
The man candidly admits that he wants to mislead customers. If he agreed to meet Tristan, it's because he wanted a little publicity for his rooibos. He's sure to get some. A few hundred meters from there, Tristan finds Leslie in his warehouse. It's here that the tea from the cooperative is stored before being exported. As Heiveld has no access to the factory, it has to send its tea to Clan William so that it can be pasteurized. It is then brought back to New Outville to be controlled and packaged, an additional cost that weighs on the cooperative's finances, while the government plant is only 2 steps away. The cooperative had to borrow money to buy the building and the surrounding land. But this time, it was 2 white farmers, Elsa and Johan Goldfarb, who made things easier for them. They sold it all off for next to nothing. The couple cultivate rooibos, and it's as a professional that Elsa appreciates the work being done at Heiveld.
The offices, and they phone the people, and they arrange everything, and that's all. I mean, this Oatly really helped them quite a lot.
Do you think there is many stories like Heiveld in South Africa, or it's quite a unique initiative?
It is unique. With the rooibos tea, they had so much help, and people helping from overseas, getting funds, and that helped quite a lot because, you know, to start from the bottom and, you know, harvesting your rooibos tea and sell it, and then you have only a small, but then next time you can make it a bit bigger. But now they had so much help that they could start a bit bigger and then go forward after that.
So Elsa and Johan are living proof that not all the whites are against your initiative and that they are helpful. No. It happens often, right?
It's not. Not all the whites are that bad, but you still get that are really bad, and then you get
especially in the rural areas like here.
Yes, especially in the rural areas like here. But then you get people like Elsa and Johan saying, we are proud of you. We want to help you. 1 year, I don't know, it was, I must just go back to my records, but I think it was in 2009 when this place just started. So we wanted to sell some rooibos to the factory, new rooibos, and they were like, no, we will not take your tea. And Elsa and Johan actually said, you know what, this is bullshit. We will give the tea to us, and we will sell it. We will sell it to them. And what actually happened is really, we gave the tea to Elsa and Johan, and they sold the tea to Nieuwe Rooibos without any problem. But the government, it was said it was for the small-scale farmers. And they said, no, we will not take your tea.
That's crazy, yeah.
So Elsa and Johan also helped us to sell the tea.
Still, even though it's very unfair, Heiveld is successful. How do you explain that?
I think it's the spirit of the people, and I think it's the, I don't know the English word, but we are passionate about what we're doing. I'm passionate about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
A lot of times I've said I will just leave this job, and then tomorrow I will go to my job again because I just love it. You see the change in the people. You see the not just the financial change. You see the inner change within them as a person, the self-confidence. And the other thing is our clients. They really push hard to sell our tea, and I think they do very good advertising to say, this tea is from real small-scale farmers. This is the real thing. I think that's where our success is.
The Gatherer's Day is coming to a close. Martise Konst, the cooperative's driver, takes Tristan into the bush, right next to a little farm. He wants to show him some hidden rock paintings that depict scenes from everyday life. It was the Bushmen who drew them on the stone several thousand years ago. Whatever Martin Berg may think, there have been colored people in the region for a long time now.
These paintings come from our ancestors. When my grandparents were children, the paintings were already there. I love these paintings as dearly as I love my farm. But now I can't pay the same attention to one as to the other. You understand? These paintings are beautiful. I love them. But to be honest, I don't often have the time to look at them. The most important is our work. I have always to be able to put food on the table. We fought for that for so many years, and I know it's not over. We will always be grateful to our customers from the other end of the world who buy our rooibos. It's very important to us. Thanks to them, we're no longer children. They've helped us grow and learn. The old people, like me, we're going to leave the cooperative soon. But the young generation will continue to move forward towards a better future.
Today, thanks to their cooperative, the Bokkeveld producers have found the resources needed to become masters of their own destiny for the first time in their history. To carry out their enterprise successfully, they knew how to surround themselves with the right people, regardless of their racial origin. However, Heiveld's success should not hide the fact that there is still a long way to go before there is a fundamental change in attitudes. In any event, in the mountains of Cederberg, Mandela's dreams have come true. It may not be a nation, but there is indeed a rainbow community.